Now, speaking of business, McAllister, bro, my team ain't done no business. How you feeling about McAllister? It's a baller. He's a baller, to be fair.
He's good. He's good. Happy days. I'm skeptical over all of them. Me, lad, as always. I'm the Mr. Skeptical over here. I'm one of those with McAllister because he's good. Same way Messi's good. But if you put Messi in Accrington Stanley, you're not going to get the same productivity. So as long as we build around him, it's happy days, because I think we saw it in the Argentina team and even the Brighton team. If you build some good, solid players around him, you get a good, solid player in return. But he's not going to be able to link up with dead people. For instance, I am not a great footballer. Put me in midfield with McAllister. He's not going to do as well because he hasn't got that additional link up, man. Because if he gives the ball to me, I'm likely to give it away. So we need to build around him. If we build around him, then you see a more productive, more advanced, more going forward midfield. And that's all I want to see.
Just get him on his own, then it's like it's one step forward, two steps back, really, isn't it?
And you don't want that. That's why I'm nervous about like the Taram links, because I don't know if he's ready yet, but we'll probably get on to that.
Yeah, but like, what's the deal anyway? How much money have you lot got to spend, or you never know because your owners never really tell you? They just don't really spend any money, kind of thing. So like, because you just, bro, that's the one thing about Liverpool. You never hear about how much money they've got to spend. It's kind of like it's always nothing, and then they might surprise you with the odd side.
We don't have a clue where it comes from. That's what annoys me. Some money's like loans, some money's sell to buy, some money's from this. I don't even know where. Like, you're onto the way you get multiple incomes, and then those incomes like go on certain things. I don't know what pieces of our income go on the transfer specifically, and I get told we're sell to buy, and we are. But then you think, where's all the rest of the money going to? And then people say the stadium expansion, but I've just mentioned that was a loan. That's a loan. If you don't know the concept of a loan, that means it's not your money. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused and skeptical every window where our money goes, because you think, where does the competition money go and where does this? But I don't even know what the solution is no more, because top Reds like to sit there and say, oh, but don't worry, James, because even though we're in Europa League, Jurgen Klopp's never won the Europa League. Why would you want to win the Championship if you've won the Premier League, you tits? You know what I mean?
No, but it's true though. Like, when Man United, like we completed the set by winning the Europa League, but the reason why it took us so long to complete the set is because we never want to be in that competition in the first place. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's one of them ones where obviously they can look at it saying, all right, cool, he's never won it, but then he has to win it now because he doesn't want to be there anyway. So you either go and win that competition, or you absolutely play your kids and disregard it. One or the other. You know what I'm saying? Because the longer you're in that competition, it does hinder your Premier League performance. It does. Like, there's never been a team, that have been able to perform really, really well in the Premier League, and win that competition, bro. Something's got to give, bro. Like, even West Ham, like even West Ham in the other thing, the Conference League or whatever, bro. Like, there were certain parts of the season where they were in the relegation zone. Like, it takes its toll.
As right as you are, unless you have, adequate backups to replace the players when they're going to the midweek games, or let's say if you do want to go with the second team approach to the Europa League, then do that sound, but you need the right players to do so. So for instance, Liverpool's best squad depth came in a season where we went to the end of all 4 tournaments. And that season, even just in our attacking options, we had Origi, Minamino, not world beaters, but guys who could come on and score a goal. And then you looked at the midfield, there was more depth there. You just think about the all-round squad. And that was a stack team. It was like a mixture of, there was players we wanted to let go but couldn't quite let go, so they had to stay, and there was no proper offers on the table. Therefore, it got us into a position where we had more depth, and that's done well for the duration of the competition. And
why did you end up selling players like that without replacing them?
Like who?
Like the Minaminos of this world and these guys that were squad players that were coming in and doing stuff like
to lower the weekly budget. I would assume. I would assume.
You mean the wage budget?
Yeah.
So what's the long-term plan from your owners then?
I gave you a prediction over the past couple of years, yes, I believe my owners have the intention of wanting top 4. This is the first season that they failed to do such feat. And who knows if we'll get back into top 4 because of what Newcastle are doing and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, I've been worried about this for a couple of years, not just because of what we're doing, but because of you can never stop. You can't not look behind you. You can't,
Yeah.
because if you don't look behind you, you don't know if someone's got a little bit quicker and they've caught a little bit of space. So that's why I'm thinking to myself, okay, we've got to a point where we've recognised Klopp can do wonders with some, players who, let's just say, aren't so established before they come in. If he can do such thing and he can get top 4 and it doesn't work for one season, then it gets to a point where, listen, it's like, this works and we're getting all the Champions League revenue anyway. And Rants, remember when me and you said, why would you go out there and spend the risk of an extra 100 million when it doesn't even guarantee you a league title? If we got Bellingham, and this is why I knew we wouldn't get him, is because it wouldn't have guaranteed us a league title. Yes, in the long term, it's nice.
Sign Jude, you're still challenging for the top 4. Like, it doesn't change unless you strengthen around the Jude Bellingham signing. It doesn't make you any more dangerous than you are now, innit? And this is the thing. And when you look at teams, you're seeing it. Like, even with Arsenal as well, it's like they nearly won the league, and now they're in danger of being pipped by Declan Rice, by Pep. Do you know what I mean? They've signed Kai Havertz, and it's like, as it stands, it's going to be another challenge for top 2, challenge for top 3. Because it's like, what's the incentive to go out there and spend 300 million and still finish behind City anyway? Like, what's the incentive? There isn't one.
It's not a sensible business decision, Rance. So when you haven't got people... So this is the thing that I just say to Liverpool fans, is that if you have got owners who are worse in many aspects, so we have less connects than other teams, it's like people came out and they were all saying Chelsea's cheating and Todd's cheating and this. If he has good connections, and okay, I don't dispute this potential fishiness going on, but if it just so happens that there's people in Saudi who wants to buy players because they want to enhance their league, and Todd Bowley has Deadwood that he wants to go out, that, my friend, sounds like a common interest which just came at a perfect time. And it just sounds like he's got the right contacts to make those sales. He sounds smart. And whether he's cheating or he's finding loopholes or he's not cheating at all it tells me is he's either a better cheater than what we are. Because you're onto the way that, like, certain clubs say we don't cheat. Derby County cheated. You think we haven't cheated, you scumbags? We hacked into Manchester City's youth academy. It hasn't fucking worked because we've only had Curtis Jones and Trent Alexander-Arnold. We had to pay them a fine to not take it a year further, Rance. A whole fine to not take it further because we couldn't compete with the lawyers. We know the score with the lawyers, Rance. Come on.
Yeah, of course.
But what I'm saying is that if there is corruption, it's either Chelsea are better cheaters than you, they find more loopholes than you, or they have better connections than what you do. That, to me, sounds like an ownership inferior complex. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like 100%. They're just inferior to certain owners. So as much as you can sit here and say, because here's my gripe. I haven't used that word for gripe with Liverpool fans, right? Is when they sit there and say we're going to go and challenge again, and it's fine because we're in Europa League. Yet I was called negative when I said we could possibly finish in the Europa League this season because of the lack of funds, and you knew my uncertainties on Nunes. We've just spent so much money on a player we're not going to be able to replace for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? What's the path? Because if I told you that 12 months ago, it's, James, you're negative. 12 months later, this the proof of indoctrination of football and owners, by the way, and how they can tell a narrative like anything else in the world. It works in the same way in football. 12 months ago, I said that. Now, it's Jurgen Klopp's never won a Europa League, so we're fucking sound. Are you high on crack cocaine?
Yeah, but James, you got to understand, like in every fan base, that whether it's the top Reds or if you're blue or whatever, these guys, it's just about coping with day-to-day life, bro. Like, some of the shit that I hear is ridiculous, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's actually nonsensical, but this is how they get through their day. Like, do you know what I mean? Because the reality is not nice. It's not pretty, innit? So they get through their day by telling themselves all of this bullshit, bro. This is just what it is. Like, as a Liverpool fan, there should be no way that you're trying to glamorize the Europa League, because that's not who you are, innit? So the fact saying our Klopp hasn't, bruv, so what? Do you know what I mean? You should be looking at how, you ended up in a position where you're having to play that, because it's one of them things where with Newcastle, I said it, like, fair enough, Newcastle finished in the top 4 last season, but it's like, if Liverpool were doing what they were supposed to be doing, Newcastle wouldn't be there. They would have had to wait another year. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. And it's not like you missed out by much either. You didn't miss out by much. So you missed out by a little bit because silly little response, silly little results.